Okay, Facebook, this is Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer, and I'm sitting again with
Gia.
Gia Boo. So, this is our third chat, and this time we decided to talk about health and wellness, especially as we're in this coronavirus season. One thing I immediately started both of us with is some teas. So you saw where I posted about going over to finding the little Jamaican market, the Kingston market, and I went over there and I got us the what's hibiscus, but the Jamaicans call it sorrel, and I also got us some lemongrass, and just the type of things that really encourage us. Now I'm a big repurposer. So what I do is every time I get spaghetti sauce, or I usually will take the label off because these are actually really, really good jars. And they even have the measurements on them. And so I usually will seep my tea, place it in a jar, add the water. She likes hers sweetened, and we put it in the refrigerator. So this has been our drink. How's the drink been for you?
The drink.
Because this is hibiscus and ginger.
Yes, I like the hibiscus and ginger because you just get the spiciness to your throat and you get the sweetness to the hibiscus.
Okay, and here's the thing. In Ghana, they have a drink that Gia introduced me to called
Sobolo.
Sobolo. So this actually tastes
Like
Sobolo.
Yeah.
When I add cinnamon to it,
yes,
and clove, then we get closer to Sobolo. But Sobolo is usually frozen. It's more of a frozen drink than it is sort of, at least when we've had it.
Yeah, well, we've had it, but sometimes, if the women are walking past and you see them carrying the stuff, they normally have it like liquid. But if you go to the person where they're actually making it, some of them have a freezer, so they freeze it.
And I love it frozen. It was like one of the coolest things that Gia introduced me to. And then I talked to you about the lemongrass. Now I bugged the mess out of Howard for her lemongrass because she was growing lemongrass actually in her backyard. And this is actually lemongrass with lime.
Yeah.
So she was growing in her backyard, and every time I would come to get the lemongrass, we would forget, we get to talking, we forget, and I never get the lemongrass. And then finally one day I remembered the lemongrass. It was in the evening, and she told me I couldn't have it because it was sleeping.
What?
She told me that the plant was resting, and she's an herbologist. She's an herbologist, so she was saying you could hear them. They have feelings. They're happy and they're sad. And I start thinking, yeah, sometimes they when they're really happy, they expand. When things get rough for them, they pull themselves in. Like I thought, I wasn't going to debate with her because that's not my gift. Sort of herbs and nature and botany. So I just said, okay. It was sleep that day, so when it finally woke up, she gave me something. So I really feel blessed to find some lemongrass tea here. So these are some of the things that we've been drinking.
Yeah.
And part of this is to also still get sweet drinks and still have healthy drinks, but not fall back into the pop and soda kind of trap. Which is more her interest than mine, because I'm a person, I can have a pop like once a month and sort of just get that carbonated fizz and leave it. But with young people,
we get addicted to it. Where
they get addicted to it.
Yeah.
They get addicted to it. So when I left here, Gia and I both, we've talked about it, and at least I've talked about it in previous posts. We both left here in October, basically sick.
Yeah.
We had two different sets of issues going on. What was your issues?
Mine was, can I say it?
Yeah, we'll say it.
Okay. I was pre-diabetic.
Pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
Which it runs really heavily on her father's side. Like it just runs on that side of the family. My father was diabetic, but his was brought on by alcoholism. Her father is diabetic, but his is just it's in the genes. They eat
sugar and
it's a lot of sugar and a lot of starch and not a lot of movement because that side of the family is just big people. So we went to Ghana. I kept telling her, I said, when we get there, I said, we're going to start working on your health when we get there. I'm confident, just with the food not being GMO'd, just with it not being, pumped with hormones, and not having access to a lot of fast food and processed. I said, I'm confident we're going to see a change with you without putting very much work in. And so what happened with your body?
What happened with my body was I started getting active. The weight loss came in. I wasn't eating as much sugar as I was when I was here, but their type of sugar is a different kind of sugar.
You don't get as much, and it's not not
like
refined.
Like they have sugar, and they do have problems sometimes with the sugar, but it's not as bad as the sugar that we normally have, because when they go home, they eat healthier foods, but when they're outside playing, they go buy biscuits and stuff like that. But for us, we have a lot of starch and stuff like that. So, like, you'll be seeing us for dinner and stuff like that, and lunch. You'll see us at restaurants getting fries and hot chicken and stuff like that.
So you complicating. You already have sugar, then you go get fried food that's also a starch that gets converted to sugar.
Yes.
And then you come in and sit down.
Yes.
Okay. So you said you got active. What was some of the activities that you did in Ghana?
The activities I did in Ghana was I would just go out, and in the first part I would just come out the house and talk to my friends a little bit and go see how the whole neighborhood is going around. And I would go out to the roadside to go to the bathroom. Then I come back and I play with my friends and go over to my cousin's house, and it was just wonderful.
Oh, that's wonderful to you.
Yes. And then
because she like being able to just sort of stretch her wings and be out and about and enjoy. Yeah, that's kind of hard here. We're in Maywood. It's a really nice community on one hand, but at least with my block, I love my neighbors. I have very nice neighbors. There's nothing going on with my block, but it is an old block. Like there's no children really on this block. And we're living in a time where you really can't trust sending your child to other people's homes and in their homes.
Yes.
And even kids are mean.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's Gia's oftentimes bored. She's oftentimes lonely. And that, that's given her a lot of time with technology, which is not a good mix if you're pre-diabetic and you need to be moving and you need to not be using food as a activity. Well, I'm bored. Let me go get something to eat. Well, I'm bored. What's in the refrigerator? So all of that stopped when you got to Ghana, huh?
All of it. Because before I used to be like in the house, just playing on my big computer, walking in and out of the house, and I'll go to the bathroom, come out, go to the kitchen, ask what's for dinner. Then the second time, we just go to sleep. Then the next day it starts all over.
I tried to structure some things. I tried to keep her in dance class. I had her in the summertime. We would go. In the summer, I would walk her up to Fred Hampton Aquatic Center. We would go to the pool, and she would be active then. But we know we get 3 months of summer. Ghana is hot all year round. So just that 3 months, I would try to be active with her. At one point, I registered her at the YMCA, where she was able to do a little bit of gym, a little bit of swim.
A little bit of fun.
A little bit of fun. But it is hard because in America, parents have to organize that, and most of the safe environments you have to pay for. Our parks and community parks and things are not safe like they used to be because of bullying, because, just a whole bunch of things. And, parents have to make a decision about what they feel comfortable with. And with all of my children, I always kept my children close to me. Gia's no different. So now she's home.
Yep, I'm home.
And that was one of her fears returning from Ghana, was that she would, what?
Pack all the stuff and weight back on.
She was scared.
Yes.
She's like, Mommy, I'm scared to go home. I'm scared I'm going to pack all that weight back on. And I'm going to get sick again. Because we saw where with the pre-diabetes, her skin changed from the dark patches and just everything. Because there's a body odor that comes with diabetes that left, that, just all this stuff that's a marker for diabetes, and I went through it with her older sister, so I was familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now you're back, and so she got back to her computer, and she said one day, she said, "Mommy, it's not that fun no more." Why was it not so fun?
It's not so fun because you're staring at um, this virtual technology kind of thing, and you just keep your eyes there and stare at it, and then you start to realize I'd rather go outside than be here staring at something. But
Yeah, people are they're irritatingly they're irritating, but they're fun. We need people.
yeah, but also the thing about it is the reason why it attracts us is because you see all these advertises of these fun games and people going this way and that
Parents
and
hate
stuff
that
like
part.
that.
Parents hate all of that.
And one more thing,
Okay.
they sometimes it kind of gets annoying to see people on this technology going to the beach having fun with their family and stuff like that when you're in this house stuck and there's nobody around, like you have no friends or neighbors. Most of my neighbors are just elders or uh
grown adults, young adults. They don't want to kick it with you. Yeah,
and
they don't even want to kick it with me.
I don't even want to.
Yeah, well, I love that. I love that Ghana was such a reality check for Gia, because it was like, I want to actually I don't want to do a virtual world. I want to engage in a real world with real people. And if we're going to the beach, I want to go to the beach myself with friends and enjoy. I don't want to watch other people through a virtual experience do that. So she plays on her computer. Why you got the chills?
I got the chills because I don't know. It's
Okay.
just because
I could feel her. Yeah, so I love that, because that's the truth. Like, our kids shouldn't be addicted to that stuff where you're exchanging real experiences for a virtual experience that, this is not real. You can't even sustain it in your own existence. So she does get up now. She jumps rope.
Yep, I jump rope, I hula hoop, I stretch out,
She's working on the full splits.
I'm trying.
When she get that full splits, baby, I'm gonna put that camera there. Y'all will be the first to know. She working on it. She's almost there. She always was flexible as a baby, and she gave up some of the exercise you do to keep yourself limber in that way. But she's gone back to it. But yeah, hula hoop, jump rope, and my favorite, you back playing with what?
Dolls.
Dolls.
Forever I liked dolls, but then this new virtual thing came and it
took her dolls
from
her.
Washed me
But the
away.
thing about Gia with dolls is, not only does she play with dolls, but she make doll clothes and she styles their hair, and I hated that. I love, now listen, I'm selfish. As a parent, when I wanted her to get out my face, I was happy. Like, okay, well then go get on your tablet then. But then when I saw how much it consumed her, I felt sort of bad. I was like, I miss when she used to just get down on the floor with her doll house and all the little contraptions and and just have a really, really good time imagining. So Ghana has awakened a lot of what had sort of died. Was it dead or just dormant?
It's let's say dormant.
Okay, it was dormant.
But now that I'm back playing with it, I actually see that you shouldn't take your whole life into a fake into just a computer, and you just take your whole life there. You don't experience what this world has given you to go and see at. Like, before, I used to just play with slime. I would sit down on the floor. I would play with my dolls. I was making slime, playing with it. Anytime I see it, I'll buy it. But that's not really what you're supposed to be doing.
No, it's not.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
it was, and I like all that kinesthetic stuff where you look, it's hands on and
and then it's just fun, the textures and
So Ghana gave you back a lot of your innocence.
it gave me back my life.
Gave you back your life. Girl, don't sit here and make me cry. Girl, that's what it gave me. It gave me back at least that health part. So
Mhm.
that was Gia's health. Now my health was my blood pressure was just high. I have been for at least a year being a regular blood plasma donator, and some of it is I had a brother that died of kidney failure and other complications with that. But from that, I've always had a complete understanding of the value of what they do with plasma in terms of treatment for people who have, diseases that attack the immune system or their organs. And so I have respect for it. I'm not into the blood thing, but I was willing to do the plasma thing. And my blood pressure finally, I knew everybody there, everybody loved me, everybody was my friend, yada, 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 yada. Finally, I couldn't donate. The blood pressure just would not obey. It wouldn't come down. And I was doing the stuff that I thought I could do, trying to walk, this, that, the other. Nothing was helping. And so when I got to Ghana, with a combination of the garlic bitters and the Percocet and walking, because it's a lot of heat. At some point, and at some way, you're gonna have to walk. It
Yes.
just comes with the territory, unless you're really spoiled, and I'm not. So, because I'm always doing the village life, so it's I'm gonna walk, and it absolutely dropped it. Now, her side of the family is diabetes. My side has a propensity for strokes. So in fact, my mother lost her mother when she was 11 from a stroke, and she had like a series of strokes before she left here. And then there's several other people who have stroked or stroked out, and so I know that's in the blood. So I don't really like to play with the blood pressure thing. Keeping the strokes, the all that in the forefront of my mind. I said when I get to Ghana, if I don't do anything, beyond servicing the people is easy. That's my God work. That's my assignment. I do that with ease. But I said, if I don't do nothing, let me get this health together. And Isaac was well aware and was prepared to be, like an active support and partner with that. So, besides I had high blood pressure, I had just incredibly painful sciatica. And I had been dealing with the sciatic nerve by going to the chiropractor. Well, going to the chiropractor, every session is about $50 per session. And so it's really, really expensive. But the chiropractor did lift the pain, and she knows I was in excruciating pain. So once I was up and moving, I could fake the funk. But laying down, sitting down for an extended period of time, that got to be difficult. So I said, oh, I have some incredible ointments and salves we can run over it. I came to Ghana with pain patches, and so we had this health fair and all of this stuff to do. And the reality is, Ghana's roads are rough. That's really, really rough terrain. It's a rough ride, and on the Trotro, it's a rough ride in a cab. Like some roads, some areas, you're just beating that body. And if you have any sort of nerve injury, you have a sciatica, it just aggravates it. And so I couldn't take ibuprofen. Ibuprofen isn't good for you anyway because it wears down your organs, but it also raises the blood pressure. And I learned that going to blood plasma. They was like, what has changed? And I said, well, I got the sciatica. I'm taking the ibuprofen for it, and it was absolutely raising the blood pressure even higher. So I had to leave it, which meant I was just trying to manage pain. Well, one thing for sure, pain is not meant to be a lifestyle. You're not supposed to build pain into your lifestyle. But the truth is, when I first got to Ghana, that's what I was doing. I was trying to figure out a way to manage it. And there were some things that were given to me that gave me temporary relief, like the neem, rubbing the neem on the area, or my pain patches, or the ointment. But still, nothing just gave me complete relief. And then Gia had her bout of malaria. She had very mild malaria. They caught it quick, but because she had aches and pains, they took her to the doctor and they got her this stuff called Declanova Plus. And I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but this is the stuff that they got her.
It's
And
flipped over. Or is that just the...
oh well,
that's
it's probably
just
the camera. But
Yeah.
part of what it relieves is headache, rheumatism, toothache, fever, body pain, menstrual pain, gout, arthritis. And so what it is it's a non-steroidal pain pill.
Yeah.
Okay. And the one blessing from this health fair, having had the health fair, is that I made some relationships with some nurses and some doctors. So I asked the doctor, my friend, Dr. Josh, about it, and he said it's good if you don't have anything, if you're not dealing with ulcers, if you don't have anything aggravated in your stomach like ulcers, you're okay. None of this stuff is anything that you're supposed to live off of. I told him I was able to take a third, a half, or a third of the tablet, and I got released. And I just happened to try hers just on a fluke and fell in love with it because it gave me my complete movement, and I was happy again. I was dancing. I was doing everything from this product. So from that, Isaac got some, and he got a whole box of it for me to bring back to America to make sure I wouldn't run out. And I had already had a few. So what I did was, I'm a repurposer, I took my Q-tip box and I put them in here, and I cut them down to halves when I need them, or a third. Okay. So I was back home, had my pain medication. I'm able to rock and roll, and with this whole coronavirus, I had told Gia, I said, we have to keep our immune systems high.
Yes.
We need to keep the house disinfected because mom is a vulnerable. She she just celebrated her 78th birthday. It's seniors with low immune systems that are more vulnerable, and she's vulnerable because she's on a purely liquid diet. So whatever nutrients she's getting out of that, and it's all this processed canned stuff is never as good as getting high density nutritious food. We know this. So I said, okay, we want to keep our immune systems high. That helps a lot. And part of keeping the immune system high was, I remembered all the teaching. Each week I was posting about this herb, and I found that, and I discovered that, and they taught me this, and I learned this. And so I found this product called Soursop bitters. Now remember, in Ghana, I had taken the garlic bitters, which had various herbs and roots in it, but these are the Soursop bitters. So Soursop is it's a pretty powerful fruit and leaf and herb because it is a cancer cell killer. It serves multiple purposes. It's a well-rounded fruit that helps keep the immune system high. So this particular product actually comes out of Ghana, believe it or not, and it has soursop, neem, black seed honey, lemon root, tamarind, goatweed, Irish moss, hibiscus, garlic, and cinnamon, and they say more. So every day I take 2 tablespoons with a little bit of juice, because the first time I took it, it's what it is. It's a bitter. It's not
sweet at all.
It's not the funnest thing. I've gotten used to it though now. And then for a young person, they tell you 2 teaspoons. So I take 2 tablespoons with some OJ. She takes 2 teaspoons with some OJ. I took the soursop bitters to build up my immune system, and then I discovered something amazing. That I didn't need the medication anymore for the sciatica. I went day 2, 3, so I'm on the 6th day of no pill whatsoever. Everything is the bitter, because some of these things, like the garlic, like the cinnamon, like the lemon root, are anti-inflammatories. And so yes, I feel great. We both, I struggle even going to Ghana. That's one of the things I told my husband. So I'm a constipator. If I'm not happy, if I get upset, if it's a new place, I'm not going to move. No. And so, and this is something that was also passed down the line. My mother is a constipator and spent some time in the hospital for it. So I get it naturally, but it's also in this diet. This diet slows me down. So I got regular, which was, sort of once a day. But with the soursop, I'm up to 2 to 3 times a day. And so what I've learned, because I had to do a little research, I talked back to Howard, I've, talked to some other herbologists, is that, like inflammation of the body has a lot to do with your intestines. If you're not releasing stuff. Even if you are detoxing, if you're doing some detox and you're still not passing, you're not really detoxing. So there are parts of your body that will still be aggravated. I'm amazed. And so this soursop that I got just for my immune system to make sure I'm not just susceptible to every cold and every flu bug has actually solved a greater problem for me, which is the sciatica, because the sciatica had taken my joy. Everybody that know me know I love to dance. And I dance in the grocery store. I dance on the way to the car, and I don't care. Blind, one eye, in a wheelchair. Let's do this. Let's dance. Couldn't do it. The sciatica had me. So, you got your life back?
I got my life back.
I got my life back too, Gia Boo. So this session was about health and wellness and the gifts that God has given us. Listen, I will always be a firm believer in the power of herbs and roots and tonics.
Yes, but one more thing I have to say about how this bitter actually helped me.
How did it help you?
Before, I used to just go to the bathroom. I would take so much. It felt like knives just going through and in and out, and it just hurt. Mm-hmm. So as I was passing, it hurt so painful.
Which is not good. That's the beginning of hemorrhoids and everything else. Yes.
And then after that,
what did the bitters do?
The bitters bubbled my stomach so bad, it ran. It just
cleaned you out.
Yeah, it just went
clean. And that's one of the things it says is that it's a colon cleanser. So it swept it.
Yep.
Well, how do you feel?
Well, I feel great because before it was like huge and it was hard. I would just have to. Sometimes I would.
It was all of that without you drinking. Were you drinking enough water? Was you drinking water? Was you drink? What's going? Yeah.
I was drinking water. I was eating okay. It's just even when I was in Ghana, it was doing that, but not as horrible because I was eating healthier foods and drinking more water.
So you had a setback when you got back.
Yes. Yeah. So it got even worse. Mm. So after I took this bitter, it just swept
Okay, so here's the $100 million question.
Yes.
Now, you know I'm not going to give you $100 million. It's just a question.
Okay.
Do you plan on keeping the bitters as part of your life?
Yes.
Because you like what it do?
I like what it do.
The first time she took it, baby, she looked like a wino.
It doesn't taste nice.
Oh, it's horrible. Well, I've gotten used to it, though. I've accepted it. Anyway, we're getting long. We didn't even mean to run our video this long, but we thank you for listening. We hope this has been helpful. Again, these are soursop bitters, not the liquor, not the bitters I shared with you that was a liquor, because they do have one that's like that. And you can buy them online. I've asked Howard to make me some. So I'm looking forward to bringing home some authentic ones. But nonetheless, this stuff is really, really, really good. And until I guess we're signing off until we have something else we want to share with you with session 4 about Ghana. Tell our people goodbye.
Okay. We're going to say bye. We'll see you at part 4.
Part 4?
Yep.